Hi guys, my name is Abhimanyu Rajpurohit. I'm a CLAT mentor. I'm a graduate from National Law University, Patiala, and today I'm here to bring out a new series which will, be of great use to you if you're preparing for CLAT 2020. Right? So we'll begin with the first topic today, and that is what not to do in your CLAT preparation. So let's first move on to the first point, which I think almost all the students, all the aspirants are guilty of, which is overemphasizing on current affairs. Now, if you are one who believes that, we should, prepare current affairs and you should, dedicate loads and loads of time. So I would definitely, advise you to watch this video till the end to understand what you should do and what you should definitely not do. Yes. So let's begin with the first point. What aspirants do about current affairs? So let's move on to the first point, which is reading newspaper the whole day. Yes. So for the past 9 years that I'm teaching, law aspirants, this is one thing which I have found common throughout the country, which is students lay extra overemphasis on reading newspapers on a daily basis for good 2-3 hours. And now, with the current changes, yes, you can definitely say that you should definitely read editorials. But having said that, you should not dedicate your entire day reading one newspaper. Yes, don't study for 4 hours, for 5 hours, for 6 hours. What you should do, we'll come down to that in the next slide. Yes, the second thing is browsing through random websites. So all the law aspirants, including you, are guilty of this. Yes, all of you go through various websites, you prepare, let's say, Affairs Cloud, Pratyogita Darpan, etc. Your sources are so many that you do not rely on even, one or two sources, but you go reach out to 5 different sources, which is a huge mistake when it comes to CLAT 2020 preparation for current affairs. What you should do is, you should just restrict yourself to a limited number of sources. Yes, we'll come down to that as well. The third point is only rely on study material. So if you're preparing with a coaching institute, if you're preparing on your own, if you have study material with you, what many students are guilty of are relying solely on study material that is being given to them, which definitely I can vouch for this, that you should not rely solely on your study material. Yes, you should definitely find a couple of more sources for your current affairs preparation. Next is waiting for March to begin your current affairs preparation. This I think almost all of you would be guilty of कि एक बार तो सोचा ही होगा. Yes, what? कि let's begin our current affairs preparation in the month of March when we are done with our 12th. When we are done, we have no more burden, and then we'll study in one go. This is a huge mistake. Why? Because in a span of 1 month, you are supposed to study for all the 12 months, whatever current affairs happened. Yes, so that will be a really tedious, a very difficult task for all of you. So I would definitely recommend going against it. You should start your current affairs preparation as soon as possible and try to cover it month by month. Yes, so that in the month of March and April you're not overburdened. Yes, let's move on to what aspirants should do. Yes, solutions. So first thing is that you should read newspapers daily. Yes, you should, but you should do it in a smart way. Smartly means once you go through the previous year question papers, you will be having a great idea of what kind of questions come in your CLAT exams. So once you are aware of what things are important for you, what things are not important for you, what you can do is when you open a newspaper, you go through the newspaper, you can easily make out what news is important for us. Yes, say for example Shah Rukh Khan has another kid. Now is this news really important for us with regards to our exam? So why to bother reading it in complete detail? Yes, if you want to read it for entertainment purpose, you're free to do that after your CLAT exam. But before that, what you should do ideally is just study the topics that you think are important and relevant with regards to your exam. And the only way to know कि कैसे कौन से क्वेश्चंस important है, कौन से topics important है, the only thing that you can do for that is go through the previous year question papers. Once you are there, previous year question papers, once you are good at it, then you can move on to reading newspapers smartly. Yes, read the topics that will be definite, will hold definite importance in CLAT 2020. Yes. Next point, limit your sources. Now, I'm not saying to rely solely on one source. As I said in my earlier slide as well, what you have to do is, limit your sources to not more than 3, right? So if you have 3 sources, X, Y, Z, whichever sources you feel are, good enough for you in terms of understanding, in terms of coverage, and in terms of your compatibility with the content that they are providing, what you should do is you should limit your sources. Yes, just stick to those 3 sources and just religiously, you just go through them, the 3 sources, and don't, let this thought creep into your head that अरे अगर ये मिस हो गया, वो मिस हो गया तो क्या होगा, और भी पढ़ लेता हूँ, और भी पढ़ लेते हैं. उसमें क्या होगा? You'll be in a confused state. Yes, you should definitely trust and rely on the sources that you are choosing. In our further videos in this series, we'll be sharing, insights regarding this point as well. Yes, so keep watching. Next point is go through the previous year question papers. As I said, it's the most important thing. If you're preparing for current affairs, if you haven't gone through the previous year question papers, it's the biggest mistake that you are committing. You have to go through the previous year question papers. Why? Even if the pattern has changed, irrespective of that, because CLAT started from 2008. Yes, so 2008 to 2019, you have good amount of papers with you in your hand. ILET, yes, AILET. For NLU Delhi, you again 2008 to 2019, 12 years of papers you have with you at your disposal. Use them judiciously. See what kind of questions are coming, and you'll find out that many questions are repetitive. Yes, say for example, Attorney General. It's been 5 in the 12 years. More than 3 times it's been asked in your CLAT exam. Yes, so with that we know it's important for us to know who is the present Attorney General. Yes, so who is the Attorney General? Please write down in the comments. Yes. Next is the daily task. If you talk about preparing current affairs, this is a daily task. It's not a one-time task. एक बार कर लिया हो गया खत्म. It's not like that. It's a daily task. Yes, daily something or the other might be important for you in terms of your exam. And if you're preparing on a daily basis, you don't have to devote a huge amount of time on a day. My suggestion and recommendation to you will be to devote at least 1 hour for your general awareness preparation, and I am sure that 1 hour is more than enough for your current affair preparation. Yes. So let's move on to the second topic, which is ignoring your weak subject. Yes, again, most of you are guilty of this, ignoring your weak subject. Earlier it was mathematics for most of the students. Then it went, many students find difficulty in their verbal ability. So if you find any subject, any section that you are weak in, what you have to understand is you cannot ignore it fully. Even, you can't ignore it half. आप ऐसा नहीं सोच सकते कि 20 क्वेश्चन है तो मैं 10 ही करूँगी या 10 ही करूँगा. No, that's a failed approach. You should not, think on these lines. What you should think is कि each subject is very important, because cut off, it can depend on 1 mark, 1 point, even 0.25 marks can be the difference between a student studying in Nalsar and NLSIU Bangalore. Yes, so every section is important. Second is study all subjects equally. Treat them as equals. You have time at your hand. You can definitely improve on your weak subject. How can you do that? Through practicing. Yes, that's the best way. That's the easiest way. Yes. Then there is daily practice questions. Whatever your weak subject, once you identify what is your weak subject, what you have to understand is that you have to practice questions based on your weak subject on a daily basis. Yes, this is non-negotiable. You have to do this to ensure that your weak subject in no time turns out to be your strong subject. Yes. Next is no preconceived notion. You should not have any preconceived notion कि maths का phobia है, maths तो नहीं हो पाएगी मुझसे. Remove this. Verbal ability, I am from different background, I am unable to cope up with English. कैसे पढ़ूंगा इतना सारा ये? It does not matter. No preconceived notion. What you have to understand is you should have a positive attitude. Yes, you should be fully confident on the abilities that you are having. Yes, if X can do, then there is no reason why you can't do. Yes, and that is the kind of attitude which is required. Don't let negative thoughts creep into your mind कि यार अरे मेरे लिए maths weak है, because now with the new pattern as well, you can understand that more than 120 questions which are being asked, you will get 120 minutes for them, and the pattern is changing as such that you don't even require great knowledge, or let's say even if you talk about quantitative techniques, you don't require to know integration, differentiation, etc. What they are testing is your problem solving ability. Can you solve the given problem in a stipulated amount of time? That is what they are asking. Yes, and that is how you should treat each question that comes in your way as a puzzle, and you'll see everything changes from there. Yes, right? Next do not never ever skip your mock test. Your mock test is like gold dust. It's a precursor to your CLAT exam. Just imagine if you give let's say for example 40 mock tests before you give your CLAT exam. If you give it with utmost sincerity, then there is no reason why you can't score in the region of 120, 150 depending on how much marks the paper is. Yes, so to increase your chances, to help you understand, to help you identify your weak subjects, what you should definitely do is never ever skip mock test, and understand that every mock is immensely important. Yes, learn from your mistakes. Each mock that you do, you'll definitely commit one mistake or the other. If I talk about my mock, the first mock that I gave when I was preparing for my exam, the first mock that I gave, I could only attend 90 odd questions. I thought I'll mark the OMR later, and I marked all the answers on the paper, and when in the last 10 minutes when I decided I'll quickly mark the OMR, 10 minutes were not enough. Yes, this was my first mistake, but I made sure in the next mock that I learn from this mistake. Yes, that's what you have to do. Each mock that you gave, you will create a new mistake, and you will commit a new mistake, and you have to ensure that you learn from that mistake so that you don't repeat that mistake again. So by the time you will be giving your CLAT 2020 exam, if you give 40 mock tests, you already eliminated 40 mistakes that you could have committed if you hadn't given any mock. Yes. Next is prepare your question bank. Every mock has a set of questions. Yes, 120, 150, depending on, we'll be sure about this once the CLAT notifications are out. So let's say 150 questions. Just imagine 150 questions you already have with you, which are based on CLAT 2020. If you have 40 such papers, if let's say current affairs is of 30 marks, so for 40 mocks you've given, so that means 1200 current affair related questions you've solved in. And if you have every answer that in the mock that you've given, you're marked. If you know all the questions, if you know all the answers to that questions, you are in a great shape to attempt your CLAT 2020. So every question that is there in your mock test is part of your question bank. Yes. Next is strategize before every mock. Now I've seen this over the years. Every student they just wake up. There's a mock today. They just go there, give the mock, and they come back and they wait for the results. That is not how you tackle with mock tests. Every mock that you should give from now on, you should give it with utmost sincerity, the same way that you will be giving your CLAT 2020. And if you do that, I can assure you, you will go to your dream college. Nobody can stop you from doing that. And before every mock, you should have a strategy in place. And what should that strategy be? कि मैं पहले घंटे में क्या करूँगा? First 1 hour, what are the sections that I should attempt? In the second hour, what are the questions that I should attempt? Yes, these things you should definitely cover. Because if you have given mock before, you will definitely understand this, that the first hour of your mock, your brain is going great guns, you are remembering everything, you remember everything, you are agile, you are up and running. But in the latter half, which is the second hour of your mock, your brain starts getting fatigue. Yes, because of that fatigue, you lose out on marks basically. But what you can do is understand here that if you attempt the subjects that you are strong in the first hour, and the subject that you're not so strong in the second hour, you'll definitely end up, saving at least 10-15 marks per mock. You should definitely give this a try and let me know how your attempt went. Yes? Next, don't cheat. Yes? Ab don't cheat in what? Don't cheat in mock test. Don't cheat in practice test. Don't cheat in study hours. Do not think कि मैं बस मॉक टेस्ट दे दूंगा, इधर उधर लेफ्ट राइट से देख लूंगा, अरे कोई इंडिकेटर ही नहीं है, मैंने तो मोबाइल से देख के कर लिया, मेरे 150 आ गए. वो 150 आर यूजलेस. इफ यू आर स्कोरिंग मॉक्स, डूइंग दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, डूइंग चीटिंग, डूइंग बात करते करते, खाना खाते खाते मॉक दे रहे हो, then it's better to stay away from such mocks. Whenever you find a set of questions, be it a practice test, be it a mock test, you should definitely treat each set of questions as though you are there in the examination hall and you are attempting your CLAT exam. Yes, so never ever cheat, because at the end of the day, it does not matter how much you impress your teachers, your parents in your preparation. It does not matter. What matters is when the results are out and when your rank is, AIR1. That is what matters, and that is what you should strive for. Yes. Next is, don't study without a strategy. Yes. What you should avoid. See, studying based on mood. आज mood नहीं है यार. आज कुछ खाते हैं, आज कुछ पीते हैं, आज चलते हैं बाहर घूमने चलते हैं, कल से करेंगे, मंडे से करेंगे, 1 तारीख से करेंगे. These are all, talks which will derail your CLAT preparation. What you should understand is, you should not study based on your mood. Yes, you should study with a clear objective that, as you know, your exam will be from 3 to 5 p.m. Now, I've encountered this as well, that most of the students study, at odd hours at night, but make sure that they sleep in the afternoon. That is between 3 to 5 they are sleeping, and that is one of the biggest mistakes that you can commit. Yes, you should definitely not sleep between 3 to 5, because your brain is getting trained to relax during those hours. So what you should understand is, at least from 3 to 5 your brain should be up, running and practicing, and that will definitely help you boost confidence, boost your marks, and you can try this. I can guarantee you this, you'll see great results with this. Yes. Next is studying just your favorite subject. Yes, many of us are guilty, including me. When I was preparing, I was just studying legal aptitude because it was my favorite subject and I used to score great marks in that. But you should definitely study all the subjects, and you should divide them as whatever your strategy is, you should divide time as per that. Say for example, you want to study legal aptitude for 2 hours, and now legal aptitude is changed. Yes, the name is changed. Deductive reasoning, we are not sure the kind of questions that will come in deductive reasoning until the CLAT notifications are out. But deductive reasoning, when you're studying, you can definitely give a couple of hours to deductive reasoning, give a couple of hours to critical reasoning. And for critical reasoning, you will need good reading speed. So good reading speed can be achieved by reading through editorials in newspapers. Yes, that will be a great help to you, and that will also help you prepare for current affairs. So everything is interlinked. Yes, what you have to understand is, don't just study one subject कि मैं इस subject में तो पूरे ले आऊँगा, उसमें इतने नहीं. You make sure that every subject is your favorite subject. Treat them as puzzles and you will see the difference. Yes. Next point is what not to do in your CLAT preparation. Let's sum up all the points that we discussed right now. First was overemphasis on general awareness, overemphasis on current affairs. I already discussed this. You should stay away from this. कि ज़्यादा 2 घंटे 4 घंटे 5 घंटे, you don't have to study for that long. If you devote 1 hour religiously every day without break, there is no reason for you to feel unsure about your current affair preparation. Next is ignoring your weak subject. You should never ever ignore your weak subject, and you should strive for making your weak subject a strong subject as soon as possible, and that can be achieved through regular practice tests. Next is, do not skip your mock tests. Never ever skip your mock test. Never ever skip your practice test. You have to give as many mock tests as possible before you appear for your CLAT 2020 preparation, so that you commit all the mistakes that you would have otherwise commented in CLAT 2020 had you not given those mock tests. Next is never ever cheat in mock test, irrespective of whether the invigilator is there or not, because at the end of the day, whatever is there in your head will reflect in the marks in CLAT 2020. Yes, and next is you should study with a proper schedule and proper target. Yes, I hope all of you benefited immensely from this video. Let me know what kind of other videos you want through this channel, and I'll be happy to oblige. Yes, thank you.